Hey everybody, so let's go out in the garage and I'll show you what we got today, okay? Get my shop foreman out here. All right, maybe not. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work on installing the chains on the John Deere 430 and a modification to the snowplow skids. And I anticipate a fair amount of challenges, let's put it that way. So stay tuned. Welcome to Todd's House of Speed. I really appreciate everybody watching, and we're growing the channel every day. So let's get at it. So today what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to install the tire chains and put them on the John Deere 430, and I'll show you what I anticipate. So a few issues I already know right off the bat, but we're going to solve them before it's all over. So the first thing we have to do is basically get Mama's car out of the way, my wife's car. And we got to get that backed out, uncovered, and then I've got to get the John Deere, hopefully it starts, and get that in and get that set up, and we're going to go from there. All right, stick with me. All right, so the first thing we've got to do here is we've got to get this thing uncovered, and hopefully it starts. We'll see. Hopefully everything starts and now it's all right with the world. Alright, so we're going to take this off, kind of roll it up. Alright, so let's get in this thing. Hopefully it starts, hopefully the John Deere starts, and we'll get that going. Alright, let's get in this thing. So folks, this is my wife's car. We restored it. It's a 1985 Porsche Targa 911. We've had this car for, I don't know, man, 20 years actually, and we did a complete restoration. And when I say we, my wife helped me, and we had this thing all the way down to the shell with the rear glass, and that's it. And we did a lot of it out. I say we did a lot of it outside, believe it or not. Didn't even have a garage when we started this thing. Anyway, so just a little bit of backstory. If you're interested in this, in Porsche, or maybe just curious, look at my other series with Porsche. I have some more stuff in the works. All right, just a little heads up. Keys on the left side. Yay! That's encouraging. All right, let's back this bad boy out. All right, good to go. All right, so we're going to get this cover off the 430 here. See if y'all can see that, and again, hopefully it starts. All right, John Deere keys here. Brake is on right there. And before we start it, we're going to basically throttle it up a little bit, because a lot of diesel engines really struggle when it's cold outside, and so that's just a tip, y'all. Just throttle it up a little bit. Especially this old stuff doesn't have a fast idle. So we're going to hit the key. You can see the glow plugs. All right, so we'll just do a kind of a quick walk around, and let me just pan back a little bit. And one of the things, if you look, so I'm kind of pointing down here, there's a quick attach bracket to mount the snow plow. And then, man, this thing goes on like in no time. And then you can see the hydraulic hoses for the lift and then the tilt. Looking online for tire chains, there's a lot of choices. And of course, you know, the big online platforms like Amazon and some others. I would say just you have to be really careful, everybody, about where you're getting it from. This is nothing against Amazon or whatever. Just be an informed consumer. For something like this, of course, nobody wants to spend a lot of money, but at the same time, you want to basically get what you pay for. So I ended up on the website tirechain.com. How original is that? And the interesting thing was they actually had a really good comparison between their products, which are USA made, they say, and some of the, offshore stuff available, like, you know, all the online retailers. So one of the challenging things is on my application is I actually have a 14-inch wide tire. And so first thing you got to do is, if you're going to buy chains, I know this probably sounds basic, but you know, maybe some people don't know. So if you have something like that, I will say tirechain.com has choices for ATVs. They have, I mean, pretty much if it takes a tire chain, you put a chain on it, they've got an application. So very easy to navigate. I wish they'd pay me. I'm just saying, I wish somebody would pay me. But I chose them. Also, they're out of Pennsylvania. I'm in Virginia, so tire chains are heavy. So you're just going to have to, you're going to take a hit on the shipping because of the weight. Regardless of who I went to, the widest tire was 12 inches wide, and my tire 14 inches wide. And so why is that? So when I restored this thing, I went and I wanted it to be a little bit fatter tire to spread the load, because man, these things are like 1,200 pounds or pretty close to it without a deck. So I wanted a wider tire for more footprint, and then of course, yeah, it looks cool. Of course it does. Anyway, so let me show you something. There we go. So these are 26.5. So that's your diameter. Okay. So that's diameter of the tire. That's your first number, and 26.5 inches tall is 14 inches wide. That's your next number. And the 12 is on a 12-inch rim. All right, so these are our tire chains, and this is how they came. And as a matter of fact, these chains, I just paid standard shipping, and these chains were, I think it was like in less than 2 days. You know, again, in Pennsylvania. So far, the experience is great, price competitive, and they have, again, a comparison on cheap tire chains, and basically what you're giving up is the diameter and the metal quality and all that. So these were about $1.65 or in change or something, give or take, with shipping. They were 150 and then like another 16 shipping. Anyway, so let's open them up. All right, so I don't know if you can see. So here's our extra bag of the other pair that we might use on the inside if we have to. It's not really what it's designed for, but got our bag open. And there we go. Let's get all of it. The goodness. Go. Just throw that over here. Directions. Toss those. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the chains, I'm going to drape them over top and see how much we're lacking. All right. So what I'm talking about is when we go to put the chains on, they're supposed to hang over the sidewall at least a couple of inches. And what I don't know is, since these chains were made for a 12-inch wide tire, the chains are going to be, the edges are going to be way up here. I don't know. So we're going to find out in a few minutes when we get them on, but that was the challenge, because basically the chain edges should hang off the side, and then they actually hook in the back. So you basically only tighten one side or hold tension. See if we can find the end of it here. All right, so let me show you all what's going on here. All right, so if you can see down here, you can see how this is looped around. And I think, I'm gonna actually go read the directions, but I think these go on the outside facing up. So in other words, as we're looking at it, these hang over the edge. And so therefore you wouldn't put them the other way, because they would dig into the sidewall. Pretty sure, but I'm gonna go check. All right, stand by. And sure enough, if you look down, see if we can focus here a little bit. I figured that out. All right. So pretty much they'd be digging into the sidewall, and you can see we got it draped over. So actually nice directions, believe it or not. Might have to read them again before it's all over with, okay? So we're gonna take these and all right, so we can see, maybe by the time we pull them in, I don't know. You can see these are supposed to be draping over the sidewall. And then you can see they're not quite. So as I figured, there's not enough droop over the sidewall. So these tires, I generally run about 7 pounds of air pressure, maybe sometimes a little bit less. Maybe in the summertime I'll do 4 or 5, but it's cold out there and the temperature drops, and I've had an issue where the sidewall actually, it's so little pressure when it gets cold that the sidewall actually comes away from the rim and, well, leaks. So I got to think about this for a minute. And you know, one of the things I could do would be to add a link of chain, but man, that's like very time consuming, because I'd have to go to somewhere, a big box store, and get a length of chain, cut the links, put the links in, weld them. So what I'm thinking is I might check the tire pressure in this and see how much. And what I might do is I might take some air out, maybe down to like 2 pounds or something, and see if it drapes over, chain it up, basically get everything together, and then put some air back in the tire, you know, to tighten it up. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. Okay, so y'all stick with me. So what's happening is, so I have about 8 pounds in it, and I'm thinking maybe the easiest way, first of all, I got to make sure that there's enough to go around, you know, the whole circumference. But I think what I'll do is I'll take it down to about 4 pounds. I'll let some air out of it, and then I'll jack it up and basically take the chain and see if it fits a little bit better, and go from there. Okay. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to take it down to 4 pounds. And what that's going to do is, with a big tire like this, like a flotation tire, it is going to reduce the diameter. And it also makes the chains a little bit easier to go on. And then once you get everything chained up, you can put the air back in it. Okay, so I got both tires down to 4 pounds, and I think it'll be all right. Well, we'll see. So you could actually see, of course, the tire kind of shrink, like this a little bit, because these are, big tires, flotation essentially, and they're not really designed to be run at a lot of pressure at all. I mean, they're not really effective. So we'll see. So now I'm going to get down there, and I've got the, I don't know if you can see, I've got it jacked up, and I'm going to put the camera down, hopefully at a good angle so y'all can see what's going on. I'm going to spin the tire, and hopefully there's enough length it's supposed to be, based on this, to basically hook together. And then before we go any farther, let's see if we can actually hook it together and then go from there. All right? All right. Let's see. Man, I don't know. It doesn't look like enough. So I don't know if you can see it, but it sure doesn't look like enough. But I may be bound up here a little bit. Wow. I mean, not even, look at that. So if you can see, let me just move this thing, camera's light in here. So you can see we have a little more overhang like here and here, the side. It sure isn't doesn't look like it's long enough. And I suspect it was because we don't have enough overhang, then it's affecting the length. But let me just pull this back. Can y'all see that? I'm missing I need about another 4 pieces. I mean, I'm short, big time. See the look on my face? I'm not happy. So I'm certain I ordered the right ones. I think what's happening is basically because this tire is 2 inches wider and there's more spread, it's not allowing, it's actually affected how it fits on the tire. There's not enough length. I mean, it's pretty bad. I don't know if y'all can see, but I mean, there's probably, I don't know, 12, 14 inches where it doesn't even, and I mean, it's a lot. I don't know if y'all can see, a lot. So, I think we can make the width work. All right, so obviously it's not long enough, I mean by a long shot, 12 or 14 inches. And so I think probably what we're gonna have to do, because on the weekend right now, and they're not open, so like most people. So I'm gonna call them Monday. Hopefully I can get a live person on the phone, and I don't know if I can get one chain set and basically lengthen because of essentially I have a custom application. That's what's going on. And I've got a welder and I got a cutoff wheel, man. I can, so kind of a pain, but I expected maybe not this bad. But the other part is we have a snowstorm tomorrow that's scheduled for tomorrow. Schedule. Actually, that's pretty funny. We have a snowstorm that's supposed to be tomorrow, and anywhere from 2 to 8 inches, depending upon, you know, what happens. So my John Deere is going to be worthless, you know, until I get the chains on. All right, so it's just a bump in the road, folks. And, you know, that's just kind of how it goes, because I got, you know, a custom application. Nobody makes anything to fit these tires. So I got to figure out basically first of all, the cheapest and maybe the least amount of work, whatever that is, together. Because whatever it is, I'm going to be cutting and welding. I guarantee it, which is okay. Maybe just buy 1/2 of a set, I don't know, and then just cut it to length as I need it. I don't know. But I'm going to talk to them, and because the other part is, if I could ship this back and get a taller, but man, by the time I pay shipping, it's like, I mean, it's like shipping a couple of bricks, because it's, you know, this pile of chains are heavy. So that's going to be just as costly, especially from a private side, because if I send these back, man, you pay big time shipping versus a corporation or a business gets a break on their shipping. And man, by the time I ship these back, and I don't know. So on behind the scenes, on the next business day, I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to basically see what the best option is. And anyway, y'all stay tuned on that. Okay. So, hey, everybody. So it's been a couple of days thinking about the tire chain issue, and really there's really only two ways to go. And it's either I, you know, spend some money, a fair amount of money, turns out, and some work, you know, which I plan, you know, some fabrication or whatever, or a whole lot of fabrication, and maybe no more money at all. So I don't know if it's interesting, but it's kind of sad actually. So this is where things start to run off the rails. And so I tried to contact the manufacturer, you know, the seller of these chains, and man, that's where everything just starts to run off the rails. And so much so that I think that basically it's going to have its own video. I mean, it's that bad. Or I guess if you're eating popcorn watching this, that good. I don't know. But to see my face, not so much. So what I'm going to do is, there's enough information and kind of drama that it really needs its own video. And I want to be very clear here. I'm not into making my channel. It's not about negativity at all. But when something goes wrong and there's not either any customer support or poor at best, then I'm going to let you all know, and then you decide. Anyway, so I'm not going to really give it away because I'm still deciding, you know, on the other end what I'm going to do. So anyway, that's going to be a separate video, and I'm going to show you what happened, be real brief and positive about it, and then move on. I got to fix these. On to the plow, I want to show you all something. So this was the other thing about, this is basically, I mean, it could be it works either way, as a dirt blade or a snow blade. And as I said, I kind of went through this really quick, but let me turn this around here. So if you go down here, and I don't know if I showed this really clearly in the last video, but if you look down here, so if you're pushing dirt, gravel, or whatever, you want the blade locked. And why is that? You basically don't want the blade tilting or anything, because you'll have resistance. So you just basically take this and you just roll it down here like that, and that locks the blade, okay? But the unlock position is what you want to do for snow. That way, if you hit anything or whatever, basically as you're going forward like this, the blade will actually tilt. See, actually, I don't know if I can do it here. That's what the springs are for. And basically that just protects it from any damage. So the other thing is, John Deere makes a kit for this 54-inch, at least they did. I imagine they still do. And the snow kit, I think is what they call it. And what it is, it's a rubber piece. And I think the piece either replaces this really hard rubber edge so it doesn't damage anything. So what happens is, I remember looking this kit up, and from John Deere, it was for the rubber piece, and then I think they had rollers or something for the back, and for these skids. And I think that's what it was. Anyway, I thought the kit was like a couple of $100 or something like that. And again, it doesn't snow here that much, like to need this. This blade actually came with the tractor when I bought it in the mower deck. And I mean, this 4-way blade is like, I don't know, $2,500 or something, retail, $2,800. I don't know, it's a lot, but I know I'm pretty close on that last time I checked. So the whole thing is like, I was going to buy the snow kit, and you know, we went for years. I say years with an S, and sometimes it didn't even snow enough to make it, you know, shovel your walk off. So, so I'm not going to buy it because that's just more money going for something that I rarely use. So the other part of this is I do want to modify the skids, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Here are your skids. You can see it's just kind of like a J. I don't know if y'all can see that. And it's adjustable. It's got a fine adjustment. And the idea is, you know, so you adjust those and you're dragging along, but basically set the height set the height, you can see, so it's not going to dig into the whatever you're doing if you're grading. All right, so I got these wheels and I got them at Harbor Freight, you know, and God bless. I got 2 4x4 blocks because I like my fingers, and just in case something happens, like it could fall. So, and let me see, get the pin over here. You can see, okay, there's the pin. There's a J-hook. You can see it's like really finely, there we go, really finely drilled, okay? So there's like, that's why there's 2 holes here. There's, so you can really adjust that thing, okay? All right, so I'll show you my idea here. So put it on my table here. So basically, this sets the height of the blade, and it's kind of like as it, you know, you're going forward, the blade is dragging. You know, that's what it's designed to do. And because we have an asphalt driveway, blacktop, you know, I don't want to be scratching and scrubbing it all up. And so my thought was, instead of, and I can't remember, so something about the kit from John Deere, I think these actually did have wheels, or there was something similar. So we're going to do a little old hot rod engineering. And so this is kind of what I'm thinking. Take this wheel, and we're going to mount it. That's the idea. So we're going to deconstruct. We don't care about the caster thing. I'm going to cut that off. And then I'm going to weld it to and stick it, and I'm going to set the wheel so it's just enough, like maybe the bottom of it is maybe like, you know, 1/4 inch or something. So basically the wheel's not taking, it is taking the load, but like, you know, if you like drop the blade, it's pretty heavy. So I don't want it to like crush the wheels or whatever. So you figure, I can't remember if this was 75 pounds a piece or 80, whatever it was, but it was a lot. I thought it was a lot. So if you multiply this by 4 and spread the load over and use a grade 8 5/16 where this axle looks like it's about 1/4 roughly, that should work. All right. So let's deconstruct it. All right. Let's get this. We're going to cut this off and cut these off, and we're going to see just kind of like where it needs to be. All right, kids. Safety first. Okay, so I've got my air power cutoff wheel, and probably if you look at it, I'm not sure which one is going to be easier. I don't know if you can see like this side or this side. I'm almost thinking this side where they've peened it in. Does that make sense? So if you look, this is kind of like the mushroom head or whatever, and it looked like I might be able to get through that. So I'm going to try this side first. All right. Don't try this. Don't try this at home,
I'm Donald Trump,
kids.
and I approve this message.
All right. So again, we don't care about this, all this. We just want the wheel. Actually, I nicked the edge there a little bit. That's okay. I just want to get the axle out. Looks like they've got it peened in there pretty good. Okay, so hold the bus. So we're going to see if we can just pull it out. I don't know. Maybe this thing is, there we go. Got it to move a little bit. There we go. Y'all see that? Yay. All right. So, okay, one wheel down, 3 more to go. So the other thing is I'm looking, and so this looks like about quarter. And I'm looking at, I don't know if y'all can see how much material is on this hub. And so we're only going to go up. So this is 5/16 diameter. And that pin that came out of it was about a quarter. And I want to go up because I want to make sure it's strong enough. That's the idea. And so it looks like there's enough, if you look at it, I don't know if y'all can see, the camera picks it up. There looks like what I'm talking about is enough meat around the hub sticking out. So when I drill it up the next size to a 5/16, there's enough there to support it. And it looks like to me it is. So I think we're good. All right, so we're going to go do the rest of them. All right, so this is what I want to do. This is what I had in mind. So I don't want to set these. I've got the light down there. I don't know if y'all can see. I don't want to set them like that, weld them on the bottom, because you got all this load on the wheels. And if I want to use it for basically these J-hooks, if I was going to do like moving dirt or anything, that's not really what I want. I do want the skids to work, but basically let me just show you what I'm talking about. What I want to do is I want to move, here, let me get a little bit better. My idea is basically have it, mount it back here, okay, high enough. This is going to be the axle. Does that make sense? And then position it so these are just taking the load by maybe, I'm going to go a quarter of an inch or something, because there's going to be some deflection. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's just check it out. So the next thing, we gotta drill these out. That's not a big deal. We want to drill those out to 5/16 and hopefully I can keep it centered. All right, so what I'm going to do is, you see I've got this clamped here. It's on the corner, and it's just easier than using a vise. And I've got my drill, and what I'm going to do is step it up. So this is a 1/4 inch. I need to go to 5/16. And if you try to do it all at one time, because it's plastic, it's going to walk, and we're free holding it. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to do a couple of steps up, and to make sure that we're pretty much on center, and we don't take too much meat off another side. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so as you drill through, it kind of, I don't know if y'all can see, it kind of like spreads out the plastic on the other side. So I just took a drill and ran back through. I want a snug fit, but obviously it has to roll. And so I just dressed that a little bit. That's good. That's a little tight. I'm just going to take it and that's better. Just make sure. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a little tight. So basically what I did was ream it out a little bit. Okay, yay. Okay, so obviously what we're going to have to do is, since we're going to weld this to the J, this J piece, I've got to cut it off here, and I hope that there's enough length. So this is my idea, to basically take this and basically on the shaft, where it's not threaded, I hope that there's enough here where there's threads on the other side. This may not be long enough, but this is essentially, I don't know if you can see here. That's essentially what I want to do. And then it's maybe kind of hard to see from, but basically these are going to be against it. Okay, I'm going to have a washer behind it. I'm going to have a washer, so we're going to get a washer and then basically place this where it's just enough. I don't know if y'all can see, but basically, so it's not down here and there's all this wheel hanging and taking all the load, but basically I'm going to put it back. I don't know if the angle is good. So there's only maybe about, let me see if I can hold it. There's only maybe about 1/4 of an inch, not even that much, protruding. So they just basically roll, but when there's a lot of weight on it or whatever, it'll kind of squish it, the rubber, and still use what the skid is for. Does that make sense? All right, so stick with me. Okay, so we have washers. You can see, maybe hopefully that's a good angle. I don't know if that's a, let me see if I can get a little bit better. So it looks a little bit. We're going to take this. So here's my idea. So basically we're going to take, it's going to be a flat washer on either side. And I don't know if you can see. So basically, so what I don't want is rolling on the threads because it's plastic and it's just going to eat it right up. So I'm going to slide it back. Hopefully y'all can see that. And I'm going to put a washer out here. And then I'm going to put a lock nut. And I don't know if you can see it. See the lock nut. And basically, hopefully there's enough here where I can actually tap on the end of it. Okay. So that's about, I'm just going to just kind of look at it here for a second. And then go here and then push this here. And it looks like I might have enough, just enough on the end here if we cut it off and then I tap it. All right. So it looks like if I cut the head off like as close as possible, I think there's enough shaft here or enough, and then to be able to tap it, it's fine thread. Tap it on the other side basically. So basically take this off, tap it, put some threads on it, and then I can take the wheels off or whatever, because we're going to weld this to the J-hook. So stay tuned. All right, good to go. What I have here is we have a 5/16 fine thread, 5/16 by 24. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically cut threads on this. And this is grade 8, so this is pretty hard stuff. And but we don't need too much. Only basically need enough thread engagement for, I don't know if y'all can see, we don't need enough threads to basically thread this on, and with just a little bit extra sticking out, okay? So let me get on that. Okay, so I was able to cut the threads, and it's pretty hard, but voila. And then if y'all can see, I just need enough for the thread engagement. This is the opposite end. You can see the washers. So we've got our end, got some threads cut on the end there. Let me get in focus. And then we don't need all this on the other side, so I'm gonna cut that out. I just thought I'd try it to make sure we had enough length where the wheel is on basically the shank and not the threads. And it looks like it's gonna work out just about right. So what I'm gonna do is, that's kind of the idea, well, that is the idea here. We're gonna weld this. So I'm gonna go cut the other threads on the other one and kind of prep these and get ready, all right? All right, so basically I'm gonna take the whiz wheel and I'm gonna grind through this. This is either coating or like industrial paint. So, because basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it right there, if y'all can see. I'm gonna put it right there in that pocket, and that's gonna give me just enough height on the wheels where they'll roll, but they won't like be sticking way down, okay? I'm gonna put it in the pocket right here. All right, so I think I've got this thing about figured out. We'll go down here. Got my grippers here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spot weld it here. It's kind of hard to see. I'm just gonna tack it, and I'm gonna take the other side off, but I think basically I got my height and everything sorted out the way I want it. And so we're gonna get our wire feed welder out, and we're gonna go to town. So I'm guessing at the heat, so we're going to find out either got too much or not enough. We'll see here. Let me see if I can get this thing a little squared up. Y'all all crooked there. All right. That's what I wanted to hear. So if you can see, so basically I don't want to go, I don't know if y'all can see this really well, but basically that's a pretty good tack. Let's see right there. And so now I'm gonna take the clamp off, make sure I'm square. I'm basically with this. Then I'll hit the other side and I'll go back, okay? So got top and bottom. So I'm gonna take the nut off here and I'll make sure it looks square to me. Now we've located it, and then I'm going to tack it on the other side. All right, so good penetration on both sides. We don't need to, I don't know if y'all can see, but we don't need to weld the bead like all the way across. We got really good at the very end points and on the back side too. I might hit this spot one more time. Other than that, yay. Okay, so got the welding done, and I cut the long end off. Went and tacked it again, and I'll show and painted it. Had some good quality spray paint put on it, and there you go. Let's see if I can turn it around there. So got the other one right there. That's the paint on that's drying. Okay. So we're going to assemble it. Got a little bit of grease left in here. We're going to take a little bit of axle grease. We're going to put our washer on the inside. And we're just going to put a little bit of grease on it. And let's see. Go ahead and put our washer on it. And our lock nut. And what I'm doing, I'm checking is any drag on the washer. All right, folks. Yay. Okay. One more. Got that with this one done. And then we're waiting for the paint to dry on the other one. Okay. So y'all can see they're all ready to put on. All nice and pretty. Let's just see basically how far that is. I'm going to judge it. I'm going to take it, so right now it's all the way up. I'm going to get the other one. Okay, I'm going to pull just leave the pin out for the time being. So I'm going to put the pin in there, but I'm going to leave the cotter pin out on both sides for the time being until I see where it is. I'm kind of judging it. Looks like it's about right. All right, so we're going to start it up and we're going to raise the blade up and take the chocks off. Then we'll let it back down and then see what we have. Okay, so believe it or not, my math worked out. So let me show you what I'm talking about. The blade's all the way, it's sitting right on the floor. And this is as high as it'll go. And look, it's just barely, there's almost, yeah, it's barely touching. Actually, just barely. And let's check the other side. Okay. And so why is that important? Because basically, I wanted to make sure that the wheels weren't so far down that at the lowest point, the blade wouldn't be touching the ground. So it looks like it worked out. Shocker. Anyway, what does it say? Measure twice, cut once. All right. They're both about the same, almost exactly. Distance off the floor, just a little simple measure. So let me start it back up. So that's about where I want it, give or take. So let's see. So that's about, let's try that. So I've got them adjusted a little bit farther down, and I'm gonna go and just take the pressure off, relieve the pressure, and have the blade sitting on it. So let's take a look. So we're pretty even. I don't know if y'all can see. So I'd call that about maybe 7/16 of an inch, something like that, but it's even across. So it looks like, again, we got our math right. So the weight of the blade is sitting on the wheels. So now when I'm like pushing snow, And of course I can adjust it more, but I'm not dragging the ground. The wheels will actually roll. And that was the whole idea to begin with. So what did we learn here? So with the plow modification right there, and really, I just used some existing hardware that I had, and and I know that that blade, that whole thing probably weighs, I don't know, 125 pounds, maybe 150, maybe 125, but because it's pivoting right here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but anyway, the whole thing is weighed out here. So anyway, so I wanted small wheels. I wanted something that were like kind of like roller skate, simple. So it cost us a whopping $12 at Harbor Freight plus tax, and basically deconstructed the casters. That was the cheapest they had for that wheel, and used existing grade 8 bolt, cut the head off of it. I had some nuts and washers, and just a little bit of time and some measuring. A little bit of measuring. We got that thing exactly like I want it. So I'm going to call that a win. The whole idea is basically just a couple dollars and a little bit of ingenuity that anybody can do. And, I have a welder and I can weld a little bit. And look, all done. Okay? So we're going to call that a win.